So I was still saying, it's more like they are saying in this case, what could be the number represented by y here that you can add to 3 to give you 5? The very obvious answer would be 2, because 2 plus 3 is 5. Then mathematical, how do we solve that question? I mean that case. It would mean that for us to have y as 2, we need to subtract 3 from 5 so that we can have y as 2, because we need 2 here to get to 5, because 2 plus 3 is 5. Okay, hence they are saying you have to cross this constant term to the other side, and it has to change its sign so that it become negative. When it's negative, it's where we can say we subtract it from 5. That's the whole concept. Okay, so we have y in this case equals to 5 subtract 3. 3 is negative, hence we'll say then we have 2 here, because 5 minus 3 is 2. Okay, let me give you another example. Let's say you have 3x plus let's say 5 equals to um equals to what? Equals to 11. Let's say equals to 11. Okay, the question is, what number is represented by this term? If we can replace this term by a number, and we say that number plus 5 is equal to 11, what could be that number? It's obvious that this has to be 6, because 6 plus 5 is 11. Then if this whole thing has to be 6, then what could be x, so that we can say x times 3 is equal to 6? What a number is represented by x that we can multiply 3 to give us 6? That number is 2. Okay, so the x here is 2. But how do we get to that 2 mathematical? Okay, mathematical rules would say the very first thing to do here is to correct the like terms. Numbers without alphabet must be on the other side, and the numbers with a variable being alphabet must be on the other side. Meaning on this side we must be left with numbers with x. Okay, numbers with x is 3x. This is without x, it must go to that side. Okay, so we have 11, it has to change sign, minus 5, so we have then 3x equals to, this has to give us 6. Okay, then in this case what do we do? In this case, what do we do? Because we are saying x, this number which is x times 3 is 6. What is the number that you can times 3 by it and you get 6? The answer is obvious, has to be 2. Then how do we go about turning this number to be 2? Can we then say, okay, let's go and subtract 3 there? No, because it's going to be 3. 6 minus 3 is going to be 3. Okay, but what if we divide 6 by this number? Then the answer will be 2. That is why they will say you must then divide an alphabet by its coefficient. A coefficient, it's a number before the alphabet. So the number before the alphabet here is 1, because 1 you can't write 1. The coefficient here is 2. The coefficient here it's 3. There's no coefficient here because there's no alphabet. Okay, In this case, the coefficient is 3. So we divide everything by the coefficient of x, 3, and 3. Then this side we have x, because this will cancel this one. 6 divided by 3 is 2. This, yeah, that's how we go about solving these types of equations. Okay, let me give you another example of a straight line or linear equation. Let's say in this case we have 2x plus 5x minus 3 equals to um, 11 again. 11 again. Okay. So how do we solve this equation? How do we solve this equation? Mathematically, they are saying the very first thing to do is to make sure that numbers without an alphabet must be on the other side, and the numbers with x must be together on the other side as well. Okay. Meaning this should go that side because it's without x. So we'll be left on this side with x, 2x plus 5x equals to 11 plus, because it's negative on this side, 3. Okay, that's what we have. From this step we can say, okay, this plus this, that's 14, I think. Yeah, it's 14. This is like 2 rand plus 5 rand. What could be the answer? 2 rand plus 5 rand is 7 rand. Same thing, 2x plus 5x has to be 7x. Okay, so we then divide, just like here. We then divide by the coefficient of x. So the answer is still 2. Okay, the answer is still 2. Okay, that's what we are getting here. Another example, I think those examples are enough for linear equation. I think those are enough. Let's try to do a quadratic. They say it's quadratic. It's quadratic equation. Okay. Quadratic equation has an exponent of 2. It's either y equals to, the highest degree is 2. If we have x to the power 3, that is not a quadratic because the highest degree is 3, not 2. The highest degree has to be 2. That is quadratic. Okay. Let's say we have 2y squared equals to 8. Okay. The very first thing that we do when we solve equations, if we have a coefficient, we divide by that coefficient. More especially when you have one term on the other side and one term on the other side as well. So you divide by that coefficient. In this case, we have to first divide by 2. So we have y squared equals to 4. All right. What do we do from here? We just square root everything. We just square root. So the square root of y squared is y. The square root of 4 because 4 can be written as 2 to the power 2. Do you see? So that would mean this square root cancel this one. Okay, so the answer is 2. So your answer is 2. Okay. Let's give ourselves another example here. Let's say we have 3x squared equals to 75. Okay, equals to 75. The very first thing is to divide by 3. Divide by 3. Let's cancel this one. Squared equals to 25. Okay, then square root this side. What the answer? So this will cancel this one. Can we write 25 in an exponential form? Yes, 25 is given by 5 to the power 2. Okay, so if we square root this, it would mean that the root sign cancel that 2. Then the answer will be 5. So x is equal to 5 in this case. Okay. Let's do the very same example. Let's say in this case you have 3x squared, okay, plus 5 equals to 18. Okay, what they say mathematical, the very first thing to do is to make sure that numbers with alphabet are on one side and the numbers without alphabet should be on the other side. Okay, so 5 should go that side. Okay, so we will end up having 3x squared equals to 80 minus 5. Okay, that would mean that we have 75 this side. We have 3 to the power 3x squared on this side. What is the next step mathematical? The next step is to divide by the coefficient, which is 3 in this case. 3, let's cancel this. We have x squared equals to 25. For the very first thing, then we do root both sides. Then x is equal to 2. Okay. But if you were in grade 11, grade 12, the answer would have been 2, plus 2 or minus 2. But because of the fact that you are still in lower grade, x equals to 2 is enough. Okay. Let me try to come up with another example again. Let's say you have, in this case, m squared minus 9 equals to 0. Equals to 0. They are asking for m. You are solving for m. The very first thing is to cross these constants term to that side so that numbers with alphabet will be on the same side. Okay. Okay, m squared equals to 9. Then you root everything. So it's gonna be m equals to 3 this side. Okay, that's what we do. What could be another possible example that I can give you guys? But I think this is sufficient. It's sufficient. You can always ask questions. I think this one for Illustration purpose is sufficient.